Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Morning Coffee, or back to Morning Coffee, I should say. I am Mark Cook. Sitting next to me is Scott Tanker, and this is Breakfast with the Boss, baby. Welcome and good morning. So, before we jump into our guest this morning, Scott,
we have a very special guest.
Yeah, man, this guy is great. I can't wait to talk to him.
So dynamic, it's incredible.
But I wanted to mention something really quickly.
Go.
So Monday night, I'm hosting this concert. I'm emceeing a concert. It's a benefit concert, and it's to raise money for the victims of violence. Okay. The website is phillyloveconcert.com. Check it out. It's Monday night, August 22nd. I'm going to be emceeing the event. It's a whole bunch of Philadelphia musicians, bands, artists, poetry. It's going to be a great night, a real big showcase of Philadelphia talent to raise money. And I want to mention the organizations that we're raising the money for. I know that one of the organizations is the One Orlando Fund. Obviously, that was a terrible tragedy that happened a couple months ago. But we're also going to be supporting the Anti-Violence Partnership of Philadelphia and the National Organization of Victim Assistance. These are very top-level charities that do great work. We're asking $30 for a ticket. It's going to be a 2-hour concert that's going to include a glass of wine.
That's fabulous.
So I urge everybody to come join me on Monday night, August 22nd. You can get all the information at phillyloveconcert.com.
It's at Plays and Players. Where's the location?
It's on Delancey Street in Philly.
Okay, guys.
Yeah, nice,
you heard it here.
nice theater. Yeah, please come check us out. Thank you for that opportunity to mention that, Scott. And let's jump right in, baby.
Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and please make sure you go to that concert and help these people who sometimes have a hard time helping themselves, and that's what we're all about.
Yeah, thank you, Scott.
In fact, we're here today. This is called what? Breakfast with the Boss.
That's right.
We're part of www.radiovisionnetwork.com. Welcome, everybody. As you know, we meet many interesting people who can help themselves by virtue of giving their talent to other companies. They're helping other people help themselves. And by virtue of doing that, they make some money, they make the world a better place. And our job is to let those people out there, publicize them, because we want the world to know about these great people. And I got another one today. Now, for those of you who are in business, which is almost everybody I know, whether in fact you're in business for yourself or you're a small business, you need to behave properly. You need to have leadership skills if you have employees. You need to make sure you learn and continue learning, because it's a continuum. Times are different. We have a guy with us today, a gentleman named Milton Corsey, who is the managing partner of a company named STRAXO. And they have been doing this leadership work, personality behavior, communication skill behavior. Driving employee performance is what you do. Welcome.
Scott, how are you? Thank you so much for having me.
Milton, I find you so dynamic and so interesting, because this field of getting people to perform at their best, and we're not talking athletics here, so you can't give them steroids, you can't pump them up on anything, you have to pump them up with intelligence and energy and enthusiasm and the need and the will to be a team player. How do you do that? First of all, let's stop. How'd you get to where you were? Tell us where you came from in terms of your business and the passion that you bring to this business.
Okay, a little bit about my background, I guess.
Please.
Right? Sure, absolutely. Like you said, Milton Corsey here, and kind of how the whole thing started out. When I was back, when I was a kid in high school, and I was going to college, I was trying to determine what it was I wanted to do with my life. And I looked at all the different opportunities that were afforded to me. I decided to major in business. And one of the reasons I chose business is because I thought that in a lot of ways, business is almost kind of like the national religion, right? There's Catholics, there's Protestants, there's Jews, there's Gentiles, there's agnostics, there's all those things. But one thing that we all have in common as Americans is that we're all in the business of being in business. Right? So if I'm going to play that game, I need to know the rules. That was kind of what drove me into that.
Right.
So that was my major in college, went through, got my degree, went back to graduate school, got a master's degree. Went on in my first career, because like most Americans, I've had multiple careers, right? My first career.
That's how we learn. That's how we get experience.
Absolutely. I was an educator, believe it or not. I taught business, and I taught quantitative analysis, which always makes people go kind of, it's kind of like taking cough medicine.
I hated that stuff.
Yeah, it's almost like taking cough medicine. But I taught that at what is now Rowan College of Gloucester County, okay? And kind of what my whole goal there was, or the reason I chose that as my initial part of my career, is that kind of help people gain that fundamental understanding of that thing that we all share, that tie that binds us all together, is business. So kind of how does that work? So that was the beginning, and actually STRAXO is a natural progression of that. As I always wanted to work with businesses as a consultant. That was always one of the dreams. And one day I looked in the mirror and I saw some of this gray hair here. And I said, it's either now or never, right? So I went out and I started this company called STRAXO to do for companies what I'd been trying to do with students all of the years before.
Tell us how you got to the word STRAXO, because I find it's a great name for what you do.
Right, fantastic. Thanks so much for asking. It's a great, great question. The name really does have fundamental meaning to us, and STRAXO is kind of a play on two words: strategy and execution. And for any business to be successful, they have to have a strategy, i.e. we need to understand where it is we are trying to go, and B, we have to be able to execute on that strategy. In other words, what are the fundamental things that we need to do? Football season's upon us, so we'll use a football, analogy. What's the fundamental basic blocking and tackling that has to happen so that we can be successful, so that we can bring that strategy to life? And STRAXO, really, with all the things that we do, with the things that we bring our clients, is really all about that, helping them execute on their strategy so that they can reach results that they hope to reach.
Well, it's a very simple concept. You need your plan, and then you need to implement your plan, and that's where it's lost in translation so often for these companies, and that's what STRAXO comes in and kind of formalizes those ideas. Now, here's the thing, Milton. I don't know if you know this. Now, I was at Rowan, I think, at the same time you were teaching there. And I was in the business program, and I think that you are probably very lucky that I was not in one of your classes, right? So I graduated.
Let's make that clear.
Yeah. Well, this is just funny because look, this is the world we live in. There are so many connections that you have no idea with the people that you're interacting with every day, right? So I graduated from Rowan in 2003.
Okay.
I was the last graduating class of an economics major.
Okay.
Do you think that's a coincidence that I was the last class? Because after that, they were like, wait a second, we're giving these kids a degree in economics? This is crazy. This is a business class, right? We got to change this formula here. So I think that you should probably kind of like thank or knock wood or something like, man, I didn't have that guy in my classes. I had the real good kids. So
that's actually a good one. You don't have to go back and take a look, but there was a mass exodus. I do remember around 2003 there was a mass exodus of faculty. Maybe that might be one of the reasons. We'll have to check that out.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Listen,
that's funny.
Tell me about the companies that you help and the size of the companies and the areas that you work in, because it's hard to be everywhere. This is not something, you're not selling pencils. You make a pencil and give it to somebody. You're selling human capital. You're selling human behavior. And you have to try to change it. So
Right.
what do you do? How do you do it?
How do we do what we do? So you want to get an idea what the secret sauce is, huh, Scott?
Well,
okay.
You don't have
Well,
to
yeah,
explain it.
exactly.
Of course we do.
That's the next best question.
Okay, absolutely. So what's in the secret sauce? Well, there's a bunch of things. First off, let me take a step back. As far as our client base, right? We work with all size companies, believe it or not, right? Some of our companies are very small mom and pop shops. And we also work with, believe it or not, some Fortune 500s. We actually do some work with Cigna, Landmark Investments, one of our largest clients in the region, one that most people know if you have, especially if you have kids. Anybody here ever hear Five Below?
Oh, yeah.
They're a client of ours.
That's
And we
great.
do all their leadership development and all that kind of good stuff for them.
So you know what? We've seen a lot of changes in Five and Below over the last few years. They're
Yeah.
really coming back in a really big way.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe that might have something to do with it. STRAXO might be involved in that. I'm not sure.
Well, hey, listen, I don't want to take credit for everything, but yes, I do believe that we are part of the reason.
I think it's okay. I think it's okay to do that.
Yeah, but I think to get back to your fundamental question about how do we do what it is that we do, right? Is that there are 1,000 companies out there. If you look around in the marketplace, right, everybody says, hey, we do employee training, we do development, and all those kind of good things. Yeah, exactly. Right. You can find them if you open up a page in your phone book and throw a rock, you're going to hit a name.
Right.
What makes STRAXO special, or what makes us unique, is that we customize everything that we do. If the sheet that you're holding there is our one sheet. It really talks about our 4 areas, right? Where we focus in on leadership development, we have learning technologies, we have strategic HR and OD, and we have assessments, right? So that all 4 of those things are really fundamental to our process. Typically what we do first is we're going to assess you, right? We need to understand where you are, what skills that you have, where you might be lacking, right? So that we can build out a program that makes sense for you, right? And that program typically is going to include a variety of things. There's going to be some of it what we call in our business ILT, or instructor-led training. So we're going to have classes, right? Typical classes, not quite like college classes, but we're going to have classes, right? We're also going to then reinforce it with some of our technology. We have a video learning platform with over 15,000 different training videos that we use to reinforce what we teach in class and also supplement some of the areas that we can't touch on, right? And then we also, like I said, strategy and execution. We're also consistently and constantly talking to the business owners. Say, okay, what skill sets, what behavioral changes do you need to see? What is it that we're trying to accomplish here? So that we're making sure that what we are doing is going to drive to the change that you want so that you can reach your goals.
Right.
Just like now, the Eagles are in training camp, right? And they're working on building a set of specific skills for these guys so that as they come together as a team, they'll be successful. The sum of the whole is greater than the parts individually, and that's always what we focus on.
What's your greatest accomplishment when you succeed in helping your clients? It's not always the bottom line, or is it always the bottom line?
Well, ultimately
it gets there. But
yeah, ultimately it's the bottom line, but it's also the idea of watching an employee become fully engaged, right?
So the culture, I mean, you can build a culture. You help people build cultures too. In business
without
all
question.
The time. Because I've owned a few businesses, and I've owned a few, and one of the most important things about a business is culture and everybody being on the same page. So when you have a mission statement, although it seems silly, it's really not. You need to go back to it. You need to commit yourself to it. We want to talk so much more about this because I find it fascinating that companies may not have to spend a lot of money or time putting in new habits. That's what it amounts to.
Mm-hmm.
We have to take a commercial break.
Okay.
We will be right back, ladies and gentlemen, with Milton Corsey, one of the managing partners or the managing partner of STRAXO. Please be with us. Stay with us.
Sub some sizzle. This is the way. The way it's always been. The way it always should be. The way it always will be. Because that's just the way it's supposed to be. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Simply Gents, located in Marlton, New Jersey, takes care of all your grooming needs, including haircuts, straight razor shaves, massages, facials, manicures, pedicures, and waxing. To find more information or book an appointment, visit us online at www.simplygents.com. The secret weapon of a well-groomed man, Simply Gents.
If you haven't been to Speed Raceway, what are you waiting for? You want to live fast? You want to make every second count? Then grab the family. Round up the guys. Speed Raceway is 100,000 square feet of excitement, whether you're a kid or a kid at heart. Speed Raceway is the place for endless fun all summer long. Log on to speedraceway.com or just get here now.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to make a really great sub, this is what we do. It's what we've been doing. It's what we've always done. It's what we'll always do. So what are you doing? Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Today's show was brought to you by Alicia Kelly of White Horse RV Center in Williamstown, New Jersey. Alicia is your RV expert. Contact Alicia at whitehorserv.com or give her a call at 856-262-1717, extension 203. When you think of RV, think Alicia Kelly.
Today's show has been sponsored by Farmers Insurance in Voorhees, New Jersey. To protect your assets and the people you love, call Mike Skoranek, your local Farmers Insurance agent, at 856-336-2553.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Welcome back. This is Scott Tanger, Mark Cook, and Milton Corsey. We are here with Breakfast with the Boss, which is part of the bigger show, Morning Coffee, and we've been speaking with Milton Corsey about his incredible company. Why? Because it makes your company better. Now, you work with companies large and small. and your assessments are courtesy of the firm, which means that you will be more than happy to meet or speak with anybody at any time just to see what their situation is all about. You've helped companies that are large or small, profit or not for profit. I'm going to put you on the spot. What's the one or couple things that most companies do wrong that they can fix?
What's the one thing? Okay.
The kind of, what I'm saying, there must be some theme that goes through most companies.
You know what's funny, Scott? Because I had a very similar question, and I think this might be a little cleaner way to ask it. What's the most common thing you hear from the companies you consult with?
What's the most common thing I hear from the companies I consult with? Probably one of the most common things is that we need to fix my people. I'll get called in by the C-suite, somebody in the executive, the CEO, the COO, the CFO, whatever, and they'll have a complaint. This thing isn't functioning well, and they'll typically people look at companies kind of like an engine of a car, right? And they look at all of the parts. They'll think about all the different parts of it, but they don't think about how these parts work together. Right. In other words, what do we need to? How do we need to make sure that all of the essential elements that it takes to run a business are in what I like to refer to in alignment? And what they may look at and they go and they say, the marketing department isn't doing their job, or finance isn't doing their job, or merchandising isn't doing their job. It isn't. It's a systemic issue. Right? It's about, have we put together the organization, is everything in the appropriate alignment so that it's going to work to drive the results that we're looking for. So typically, that's one of the first things we'll do is we'll sit down and we'll talk to you about those issues. We'll talk to you about what's the environment look like? What are the outcomes that you're looking for? Let's talk a little bit about what your strategy is. What are your core processes? What are the systems that you're using? What kind of culture do you have? Are you even focusing on culture, as you had said before the break, right? Which is a thing oftentimes people don't think about, really, and it is huge. You're absolutely right, Scott. I couldn't agree more. One of the things I share with people all the time is that culture trumps strategy. It always does.
You can get over your mistakes if you have good culture.
Exactly.
But strategy goes bad, and the culture says, I knew that wasn't going to work, or worse. I've been there. I've seen it. I've seen it in small companies and big companies.
Absolutely. And one of the things I see is when it comes to culture is that leaders oftentimes don't pay enough attention to it, right? In other words, they let it just percolate up organically from the ground. And those things that you don't necessarily take a direct interest in, they're going to happen, okay? But they're not necessarily going to happen in a way that's going to be that is going to help you achieve your long-term goals. And I'm sure we've all worked with people who are what I like to refer to as Debbie Downers, right? And if we allow those people will drag an entire group down.
Oh yeah.
Right? Organizations work the same way.
Yeah.
So if we don't sit down and decide in advance, here's what we want this to be, and here's how we're going to pull the levers.
It has to come from the top.
Absolutely.
Because if you see the top slacking off or not committing to the mission, to the goals, not supporting it in a professional way, I do mean professional, so that it's sincere,
right,
and genuine, then you can definitely run into problems. Not that you can't get it done, but you can absolutely run into some major problems.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And the other thing that happens is when you create that appropriate structure and things are in alignment, we tend not to do what I like to refer to as chasing bright, shiny things. Right?
Get distracted.
Exactly. If you have a pet dog, I love dogs. Right? If you have a dog, you can always distract your dog by just shaking your keys. Right.
Right.
Right. Companies are the same way. So one of the things that we need to do is when we create this alignment, right? When we get you in alignment and we get that culture in alignment, we create that structure. We have a strategy that everybody's bought into. Right? We won't divert our attention to those bright, shiny things, because bright, shiny things always pop up. There's always, oh, what about this? Oh, what about that? Well, we need to keep our focus, our eye on the prize. And one of the things that we do is when we bring you into that alignment, when we help you get aligned, when we help you understand what it is that you're doing, and we've sharpened the tip of that spear for you, you'll stay focused and you'll achieve your goals.
It's amazing because you're talking about these great concepts for business, but they also translate to life and individual, and it's really, really cool to see. And I want to talk a little bit about the human aspect of what you do, because I think that it might be an overwhelming situation for a CEO or an owner of a company, a guy that probably views himself as an expert in his field. Is it humbling for them to have to call and say, Milton, I need some help? Or is it a situation that these guys understand that, look, I'm a great business guy, but I may need a little help in this one area, and then I need to make the call? What's the human interaction like with these business leaders like that?
I want to answer one of those questions because I've owned a small company.
Yeah, I know.
I'm a part owner in a big, medium-sized company, and I've been a very, very tiny owner in a humongous company.
Right.
And the owner of a small company, I never even thought of having a Milton there, even though I probably should have.
Right.
Because I knew my
Right.
weaknesses, but I was afraid to expose them to the rest of the group or to anybody.
Can you put a word that describes that feeling? It's not arrogance, and it's not.
No, some of it's a little fear.
Fear. Okay.
Some of it is we'll plow through it. So I don't know if that's arrogance as much as it is commitment. Again, when you're committed to something, sometimes you can get away with it because you're good or your timing's right. So my timing was right.
Is
too.
it like an admission? Would it be almost like an admission of defeat, or an admission that okay, I'm not as good as I thought I was? I speak to that a little bit.
Sure, but I think it's a combination of things, right? I think it depends. I think Scott pointed out some unique, because what I've seen through my exposure to leaders in businesses of all different shapes and sizes is, you're right, they are fundamentally different. When I look at entrepreneurs, that person who started this thing out, from their own, sweat of their own brow. I started this thing around my kitchen table, and now we have a going concern. Oftentimes, it's kind of like having a kid, right? It's hard for them to let go of their baby.
Right.
Okay, it's very, very difficult for them to let go of their baby. So sometimes it's those ownership issues. One of the keys of leadership, and one of the keys you see leadership is one of the things that we focus in on, right? Is helping a business leader understand the difference between leadership and management. Right?
Because there is a difference.
There's a huge difference between those two things. And a lot of those folks are phenomenal managers. They're really good at the nuts and bolts of the business. But how do you create that strategic vision? How do you then make sure that you're putting the pieces of your team together so that the team itself is moving forward? It's not about any one individual player. So for them, it's about letting go. It's about understanding what their job is. It's about getting them off the shop floor and up on what I like to refer to as the balcony, so that they're seeing the business from a very different perspective. Which is oftentimes a challenge for that.
My father, may rest in peace, used to say you need thinking time. And a lot of leaders are so busy making money, they don't sit back and think about things.
And reflect.
And reflect, mainly because they're either making money because they have to and they need to make more, or they're making a lot and they're having a great time. Why stop?
Yeah.
It's almost like a little Trump theory. Well, I won all the primaries. I guess I'm doing. I guess what I say is okay.
Right.
Well, maybe it's not okay, but you won anyway.
Yeah. No. There's an old axiom about leadership, and it says, you have to work on your business, not in your business.
Right.
If you want that business
But
to
you
grow.
know what, though, Milton, there's something to be said for an owner that is willing to be on the floor, that does know all
gotta
of
do it
the
all.
jobs.
It's gotta be both,
Right.
yeah.
A good owner is the owner that can stand on the balcony and watch, but he also will go into the bathroom and clean the bathroom if he has to.
As it
right.
were, right.
That's the type of owner that I always felt like they have a better perspective because they're willing to do any job. How hard is it to get those guys like that are so hands-on to take that step back? Is it more that you're now a life coach, you're now coaching the person rather than than actually doing what you're there to do?
Of course. I mean, listen, businesses are are simply the collection of the people who are in that. Mm-hmm. We're talking about human beings here. Okay,
right. But you have to fit them into a model if you're that kind of businessman.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. We do have to do that. But back to the original question is it here's the thing, right? When you bring on talent, when you hire people, the key is that we want to maximize that person's value to the team. Right. And if you as the leader, you as the manager keep wanting to have a person do it the exact same way that you did it, it can become problematic, and you're going to stunt the growth of the organization. Right? You're not going to get the full ability or talent of that individual, and that's somewhat problematic. So that's one of the problems that we oftentimes find with folks like that. And they need to be able to step back. Now, there's tools, there's models, there's things that you can do to
guide.
Right? Yeah, exactly. To guide them, to give you a comfort level, so that you don't think that this person is going to go off the reservation.
Right.
But you have to give them the freedom to do what it is that they have the ability to do. I want all of you, not just a smaller part of you. It doesn't make sense for me to pay a salary for all of you, but I'm only going to take advantage of this because I want to control everything. Right. So there's tools that we can use to help you give some of that power away while still controlling the direction of where you're heading.
What I find is so different. Again, I've worked in family businesses, and I've worked in my own small business, and worked in business with thousands of employees. you want to give them as much leeway as possible to do the job as long as you guide them correctly. They must be guided correctly. People actually like to be guided a little bit, then have the creativity to complete the project with some criteria in front of them. What I find that's different in today's world than from when I was a youngster. In the beginning, when I was working, I felt I was the only one that could help myself. I was the only one. I had to work hard, and they had to see me as a hard worker.
Right.
What I find now with my kids, and I have 31 and 27, they work in groups. They work a lot more in groups, and you shine within the group you work in.
Right.
But you don't necessarily shine on your own because you're owned by yourself. And so there's a lot more group working together, a lot more different needs to motivate and make the employee happy than there were 30 years ago.
Yeah.
But I also believe, I don't mean to be wordy, is that 30 years ago there was some basic block and tackling that was healthy and excellent, and that's been forgotten, and it shouldn't be. So it's a little bit of both. We need some of the old world, but we also need to know that the kids today, when they learn and they do projects, they tend to do them in groups, not go do your thing, come back.
Nobody achieves individually anymore. That's how you become successful. Whether you're trying to become an actor or a musician or a leader in business, nobody achieves by themselves, and that's where it gets lost a little bit, because you see, and I'm going to use the actor as an example because that's what I know.
Right.
An actor, you see the actor up there, and he may be on the marquee. You see his name,
but doing all the work.
He did not get there by himself. There are so many people along the way that were a part of that process. That's where it gets lost with some of these leaders. They want to do it all themselves. These old school guys, and I don't mean to put it that way, but I know you deal with them a lot. They got that
family business.
They've got that mentality that no. I've been doing this my way, and this is how it's got to be. You see it on shows like The Prophet all the time. He runs into these guys, and they're like, but, and he's saying, you're not successful. You've got to change to be successful. And they're saying, well, I don't want to change because this is how I've always done it. How difficult are those people to deal with?
Yeah. They're a huge challenge. They're a huge challenge. But you ask them, they have to make a decision. What do you want to do? Okay. Do you want to succeed, or do you want to do it your way?
Right. Okay. For a reason. I'm telling you why.
Exactly. The reason that I'm here is because there's a pain point. If you weren't in pain, then you wouldn't have called me up. You wouldn't have reached out to me.
Right.
So it becomes this, right? It's kind of like you said. It's about, do you want to grow? What's your goal? If your ultimate goal is to take this thing to that next level, there's going to be some fundamental changes that have to occur. You have to do things differently.
Even if you just want to make things nicer, and then see where the chips take you.
Well, listen, part of it is like you said, it's about a team. No person, no organization is an island. You aren't.
Right, and we've all been saying that.
And you need to create that organization, that what I like to refer to as a higher performing organization. How do we take ourselves to that next level?
Right? Hold that thought. We must go to commercial because some of these people pay for all this great stuff we do for people. So we're going to let our sponsors have their moment in the sun. We'll be right back with Milton Corsey, the Managing Director of STRAXO, a fabulous company that can help your company be better in every which way. Be right back.
Today's show is sponsored by Hargrove Demolition, your demolition experts. Hargrove is a family-owned and operated business right here in the southern New Jersey area, bringing you 45 years of demolition expertise. Hargrove has all your demolition needs, from emergency demolition service to demolition equipment rental. Hargrove is one of the state-approved recycling facilities right here in the southern New Jersey area. No job is too big or too small for Hargrove Demolition. Contact them today at one of their 3 locations.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to give a sub some sizzle, this is the way. The way it's always been. The way it always should be. The way it always will be. Because that's just the way it's supposed to be. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
If you haven't been to Speed Raceway, what are you waiting for? You want to live fast? You want to make every second count? Then grab the family. Round up the guys. Speed Raceway is 100,000 square feet of excitement, whether you're a kid or a kid at heart. Speed Raceway is the place for endless fun all summer long. Log on to speedraceway.com or just get here now.
When we make Beyond Natural dry dog and cat foods, we start with real meat as the first ingredient. We leave out corn, wheat, and soy. And we own where our dry food is made. 100%. Can other brands say all that? For nutrition you can trust and your pet will enjoy. Does your food go beyond? Learn more at purinabeyond.com.
Extra Innings is the nation's premier indoor baseball and softball training center, featuring indoor batting cages, 7 multi-use tunnels, and training rooms. Extra Innings can provide professional instruction, private and group lessons, and the best year-round clinics. Along with a nationally recognized pro shop that features the latest and widest selection of equipment and apparel, our experienced staff can provide you with the right instruction and help you find the best equipment for your ability and budget. Extra Innings, where the game never ends.
Today's show has been sponsored by More Than Gifts. Come see our new location in Marlton, New Jersey. Not just gifts, but more.
That will help them at the level that they are, because it's like when I came here this morning to the studio to do the show, I had to have a plan of how I was going to get here. It's a relatively simple plan, but I still had to have a plan. I didn't get in the car and go, okay, what's going to happen now?
Now what?
Now what, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
But when you so even on some of that smaller level, a small mom and pop shop, we'll have some basic strategic decisions like, what is it that you're trying to accomplish this week, this month, this year? And so that when you're taking actions, the actions are purposeful, and that they are actually what I like to refer to as business actions and not busyness actions. A lot of people think they're in business because they're busy, because they're doing stuff. You're in business if you're doing things that are leading you somewhere.
Right.
You're busy.
We waste a lot of time on things that are a little easier, but not necessarily the right thing to do for ourselves.
Exactly.
We're all human.
You know,
Exactly.
I'm sorry, Scott, I didn't mean to jump over you, but Milton, you know, we're talking to business owners and business leaders, because if they have any sort of issue, they need to call you. But you're an entrepreneur and a businessman yourself, and that's, I think, the great connection that you have with these business leaders, is because you understand them, because you are one of them. But I wanted to ask you about your team, because you've got a great team that you've put together at STRAXO. So tell me tell me some about some of these dynamic guys that you've brought in to be a part of this.
Okay, great. Thanks so much for asking that question. Yeah, because it's not me. You know, once again, I believe in team, and we have a very great team. My partner, the other managing partner, his name is George Velios, Dr. George Velios. He has a PhD in leadership and organizational development. So we have a lot of, he has a PhD. Like I said, I'm a former professor. I'm a professor emeritus at Rowan University. So we understand, you know, kind of fundamentally how to deploy these tools. And we have a team of 10 trainers and coaches who are all certified in all the tools that we use. And so when you see somebody from STRAXO, they're going to be a certified trainer or coach. they're going to have a level of expertise in the things that we do. Everybody's fully vetted. They're a great group of folks. And like I said, we operate across the entire United States, primarily in the Northeast United States, between, say, I would say, Connecticut and Washington, D.C. That's kind of our geographical sweet spot, if you will. But we have clients in Texas. We have clients in Florida. We will go anywhere. And we have some of those clients. Matter of fact, later on this month, I'll be heading out to a huge conference called Align, which is with one of our strategic partners. If you see, we have a video learning platform and an LMS program with over those 15,000 different training videos. Well, that group that actually supports that effort that we do has a conference coming up next week where me and my partner George are actually going to be doing some presentations on some things. Nice. So we're always constantly learning new things. We're always constantly getting on that cutting edge, that leading edge of what the new technology is, what's the new thought leadership in certain areas, so that we can share that information with our clients. That's kind of what we do. We curate best of breed, and then we share it with our clients. That's kind of what.
Before we get off, I want to tell the folks here and speak into the camera how to get a hold of you, where to get a hold of you, and when to get a hold of you.
Absolutely. STRAXO. You can reach out to STRAXO. You can check our website to kind of look at all the great new dynamic things that we do. This website is simply www.straxo, that's STRAXO.com. If you want to reach me directly, you can email me at Milton, MILTON, at straxo.com. Or please feel free to pick up the phone and give me a call. My own personal number, I will answer the phone directly, is 856-625-5525. There's no question too big or too small. Feel free to reach out to us. We love to help.
It's been a really fun time talking to you, but I want you to come back because there's things that go on in the business world that are new and great, or not so new anymore, not so great anymore, and we want to know about each one of those. It's been a pleasure having you here today. All right, folks, I want you to meet Milton. I want you to call him. If you're in business, you have 2 employees or more. If you have 1 employee, it's just you can call him anyway. But 2 employees or more, he's going to help you. But more importantly, he's going to help your business and he's going to help your life. Because when business is good, life is good. Because we're always in business, as we talked about at the beginning of the show.
That's right.
Mark, this has been a great, eye-opening show. It's something that we all need to worry about. We want our businesses to have a great culture. We want people to have fun while they work. They spend most of their lives there. And Milton and his company, that's his job, is to make the performance of that business better, to make the people happier, and build a culture that you as an owner or a manager want. So please don't hesitate to call Milton, and he'll be happy to talk to you at 856-625-5525. Mark, we've had a great show.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to keep going.
We're going to keep going?
Yeah.
Well, let's keep going.
Let's keep going.
This is Scott Tanker. We're signing off with Mark Coe and also with Milton Corsey. We're signing off today, right?
No. We're going to keep going. We're going to take a quick break.
Oh.
And then we're going to come back.
Well, then we're just signing off but coming back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks again to Milton Corsey and STRAXO. We'll see him down the road. But Scott, we've got more show. We got more coming up.
I'm staying.
All right. That's great. Stick around. We'll be right back on Morning Coffee.